All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Very big sign up for today's event. Good to see a lot of people that I know in here as well. Hello, Jamie. Bonjour. Hello, Dal. Good. Can everyone hear me all right? Hello, Richard. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow regarding the next mentorship, by the way. It'll be early part of next week. So just so you know, I haven't forgotten. Hey, PJ. Good. All right. And I'm joined today by Nathan Graham, who's a Senior Commercial Officer at Capital Markets Elite Group. Nathan, welcome. Do you want to do a quick sound check before I start the recording?
Yep. Hello.
Yep, I'm still here. Don't worry. Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Checking. Just checking. I lost you for a second.
No, it's okay. Sometimes the internet here can be a little bit dodgy. I'm in the middle of the New Forest National Park, so sometimes the internet can be a little bit dodgy, but it should be fine today. So welcome to you all. We're going to be talking today about volume spread analysis and specifically scan, confirm, trade. The volume spread analysis method has been around for many, many years. It's nothing new, but a lot of you are regular customers. I can see a lot of you are new people in the room, and I know a lot of you will be watching the recording after the event as well. So I'm very pleased to announce a relationship we're developing with Capital Markets Elite Group, and I'm joined today by Senior Commercial Officer Nathan Graham, who's going to say a few words to kick us off, and then I've got a few PowerPoint slides, not many, and then it's straight onto charts. Gold is moving, pound is moving, and there's other things that are setting up right now. If you hear trade alerts in the background, I'm using MT5, which Capital Markets Elite Group support. You'll be pleased to know. So, Nathan, I'm going to hand over to you for a few words.
Yeah, no worries. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Gavin. So as you mentioned, my name is Nathan Graham. I'm the Senior Commercial Officer at Capital Markets Elite Group UK. We are an international multi-asset brokerage offering US equities, ETFs, FX and CFDs. So the sort of products that, Gav will be showing today as a broker we do offer. And, generally speaking, we're going to be looking to extend and grow our partnership. So we have a co-hosted, a sponsored event with the Trade Guided team over the next, I believe, 6 months, ending in December. So if you do see quite a few emails in your inbox about the upcoming events, the dates, etc., please do join on, because we are formulating this to be a 6-month, let's say, intense course. Into what is volume spread analysis, the strategy behind it, but also using the technology and support from the Trade Guided team themselves. So I'm very excited to kick everything off, and Gavin, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks a lot, Nathan. Again, we look forward to working with your entire team there. Now we're going to talk today about the basics of VSA and volume spread analysis. Let me just ask a quick question, if I may. How many of you in the room are existing Trade Guider customers? If I can just ask that. How many of you are existing Trade Guider customers? Just give me an idea. I recognise a hell of a lot of names, so I would. Yeah, Eric, we've had quite a lot of new people onto our database recently. Jamie, I know you've been around for a long, long time. Always good to see you, mate. And Philip, yes, there you go. Philip Friston's here, former fund manager, and we've been talking about the Nasdaq this morning, Philip and I. But we won't get too much into that, because we're going to be looking at mainly forex charts today, and then we'll go and look at gold, and then there are obviously we're limited. We've got about an hour. We don't want to keep it any longer than that, otherwise we lose people. So you can expect to be with us for an hour, and I will give you at the end a link to download my book. I'm the author, and let me introduce myself. Actually, my name is Gavin Holmes. I'm the CEO of Trade Guider Gibraltar Limited and Trade Guider Systems LLC, and the MD of Trade Guider Limited. Sounds a bit of a mouthful, doesn't it? And today we're going to be talking about the Wyckoff Volume Spread Analysis method called Scan, Confirm, Trade, and how to get started with a demo account, which is provided in MT5 by Capital Markets. And So I'm sure at the end, if there's any questions for Nathan on that, he'd be happy to oblige. Again, as we say always, welcome and please keep healthy and safe, and best wishes from the entire Trade Guided team and also from Capital Markets Elite Group as well. So I'm the author of Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money, but before I get into that, I do want to read a disclaimer. Trading futures, options on futures and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions, Forex, involves substantial risk of loss. It's not suitable for all investors. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by historical tests of strategies, is no guarantee of future performance or success. There is a possibility you may sustain a loss equal to or greater in your entire investment, regardless which asset class you trade, equities, options, Forex, or futures and CFDs indeed. And I'll add in there cryptocurrencies. Therefore, you should not invest or risk money that you cannot afford to lose. So my book is called Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money, and it's all about volume spread analysis. And it's a book that I wrote over 12 years ago now, and it's published on Amazon, and we've sold thousands of copies in different languages as well. It's converted into Spanish, Mandarin, in various languages, but it's all about a simple thing, and it doesn't sound too complicated, but it can be. Learn to trade in the same direction as the professional side of the market. I call them the smart money. This is from Business Insider magazine, The Money Game. This was written quite a few years ago, but it's what I'm going to talk about today. The secret trading strategy from the 1930s that hedge funders don't want you to know about. And it talks about here Richard Wyckoff. It says the large operator does not, as a rule, go into a campaign unless he, and I'll add or she, sees in prospect a movement of from 10 to 50 points. Livermore once told me he never touched anything unless there are at least 10 points in it, according to his calculations. So writes Richard Wyckoff, the legendary trader who in the 1930s wrote a manifesto that gained him a cult following on Wall Street. His 1931 book, The Richard D. Wyckoff Method of Trading and Investing in Stocks, a course of instruction in stock market science and technique. It's out of print, somewhat difficult to find these days. Not impossible, because I've got it. But even in 2013, when this was written, hedge fund managers still swear by it. One of the key takeaways from the book is that if you want to succeed, you have to learn to recognize the professionals and understand what they are doing. That's what those who follow Wyckoff do. They watch the large operators. Wyckoff walks us through the process of how a large operator will manipulate a stock, as it was in those days, up or down, so that next time one sees it unfolding on the screen before his or her own eyes, he or she can react accordingly. And so here is Wyckoff on the right. He passed away in 1936, I believe it was. And on the left is the man that taught me everything I know, the late Tom Williams, who passed away November the 7th, 2016. I spent many happy years trading Tom's property in Worthing. When I took over the company from Dom, I moved to Chicago, where I worked very closely with the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the NYSE, number of different large organizations as an educator. Now, Wyckoff started all this, and in fact, I have got in my hand here, you can't see it unfortunately, and it's a copy of the Magazine of Wall Street, and it's written by Wyckoff and several other people that contributed, and it's August the 4th, 1917, and it's everything that's in this book, and I've got a whole load of these books, by the way, is still applicable today, because the markets move on three universal laws: supply and demand, cause and effect, effort versus result. That's it. That's how the markets move. And there's a fourth universal law that will determine your success, and that is the law of attraction, your belief systems. And this is something we'll cover in a separate webinar. But in my book, if you read chapter 9, you'll see how that affected me when I took my first live trade at the New York Traders Expo with a real account in front of thousands of people, and made money and was successful. And I learned there that the belief system in the system that I teach, which is VSA for short, is what allowed me to do what I do today, which is to do seminars, webinars all over the world. I get invited to speak. I'm going over to Singapore soon, Hong Kong, India. I'm looking at going to a lot of places actually in the next 6 months. Now the pandemic is, well, we don't say over, but it's certainly not as bad as it was from a travel perspective. My wife's just gone to Chicago and she sailed through security, no real issues. So Wyckoff was born in 1873, passed 1934 to be correct. And he was a stock market authority, founder and online editor of the magazine of Wall Street, which I've got here. And I've got some of the earliest versions of that. And he edited a program called Stock Market Technique. And he said, thousands of those who operate in the markets now recognize the fact that the market momentarily indicates its own immediate future. And these indications are accurately recorded in the market transactions, second by second. And therefore, those who can interpret what transactions take place, second by second or moment by moment, have a distinct advantage over the general trading public. And here's Tom. He was born in 1929. And as I said, he passed in 2016. He said, if you can read a chart correctly, you will understand the markets do not move randomly, but are moved by smart money. And you can see their intention at support and resistance levels by looking for the telltale footprints hidden in the volume and price. And you have a chance to profit by following in their footsteps. Volume is vital in your analysis, which is why the self-regulated exchanges around the world will not release true volume figures until the day after trading took place. So what is volume spread analysis? Well, I'm going to show you the site here, and I'm going to show you something that happened. I'm going to tell you the story of something that happened in 2010, which shows us the importance of volume on the chart. Now, this is the methodology, this is the history. You can go there at your leisure. It's volumespreadanalysis.com. And there is a resource center here, which is completely free, which has got the book in it, my book, and it's got some videos, some electronic books that we've recommended, and you can just log in there. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, but before I do, I want to introduce you to Tom, and I want you to listen very closely to what he says, and then I'll tell you the story.
Well, the thing is, you see, if you're a professional trader, you've got to do your utmost to buy on low, depressed prices. And the best way to do that is to create bad news, put out rumors, whatever you can, seize the opportunity of some serious news coming in, and then the market's markdown hopefully shakes people out of that. There was one example that we used to get up to all sorts of so-called tricks. I mean, we used to trade Teledyne, and Teledyne, the actual company, used to have an annual general meeting in Beverly Hills, and we used to plant people in there. In the meeting, there'd be quite a large room with perhaps several hundred people in there, and all the directors would be sitting up on the stage, behind the table looking out at you. But we'd have planted questions to rather encourage people either to buy or encourage people to sell. We'd be asking awkward questions, like we might stand up and say, is this correct? We've heard secretly that you've got a huge order from Saudi Arabia for your products. And of course, there was a complete fabrication. Then the directors would look at each other and sort of shrug their shoulders. But the audience heard that, and they think, aye, they've got something going on, they're keeping it secret. And that would definitely have a nice big surge of buying next day. If you were distributing, we'd say, sure, we'll let you have it all, because we've bought in the lows, we're now encouraging people to come in and buy it off us. That goes on all the time, that type of thing. if the opportunity is there, a professional trader will take it.
So that was Tom, and you can hear what he said. Now, interestingly enough, I was doing a presentation in Boston at the Boston Traders Group, and it was in 2010 during the BP oil spill crisis. And while I was out there, and I was speaking at, to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Tom rang me the night before, and he said, Gav, last week they said they can't cap the well. This week they're buying. I said, Tom, come on, that can't be true. They're telling us that Colonel Gaddafi is going to take over BP. They're telling us that the price is going to plummet. He said, oh, it's already plummeted, but now the buying is showing in the volume. Gav, we need to buy 5,000 shares. And I remember going to the Boston Traders Group, and it was the day after I'd spoken to Tom, and at the end of the presentation, they said, Gav, it was a very nice presentation, thank you very much. So what stock then would you be really looking at buying right now? And I just off the top of my head said, well, British Petroleum, obviously. And the crowd started laughing. Did they laugh? They said, oh, you Brits have got a great sense of humour. But there were two guys at the front, the guys that invited me to that presentation, and they weren't laughing. They were on their phones looking at the price of BP, and it was at 25 cents. And this is what happened. This is the monthly chart. This was where the Gulf of Mexico disaster happened. We've got two green indicators here. On the daily chart, we had an indicator which we call bag holding, which is the strongest indicator to buy, but there's no accidents in the market. Look at the volume here. And that was on the month. They said, we can't cap the well. No, we're going to go out of business. There's no accidents in the markets. There never has been. If we look back in history, the same thing happened at the same price as it did here, as it did here. This is a monthly chart. So we know that two rules are apparent in trading. When strength appears and buying, it happens on down moves, because you don't buy high, you buy low. When weakness happens and selling happens, it happens on up moves. That sounds completely stupid, doesn't it? But I can assure you it's true. And if you read my book, you'll understand that is true. And I'll show you it on some live charts in a minute. Because the markets move on those universal laws. So when we refer to volume spread analysis, we're looking, don't be confused with the bid-ask spread. It's the range of the bar. In America, they call it the range. We call it the spread. It's simply, if that was a daily chart, that would be the volume at the bottom of the screen, which all good companies provide, including Capital Markets Elite. They've got great volume on their charts. You've got the closing price, and then you look to see what the market did afterwards. Where did it close? You've got the spread, and the closing price is the most important part in VSA, because it tells us the intention of professional money, as you're about to see. There are a number of indicators and setups I'm going to show you today that I use all the time in our asset management division in Gibraltar, of which I'm the head trader. And we basically look for signs of strength, signs of weakness. And today we're going to focus in on a few charts, mainly I'm going to focus on Forex today, but we will in the next event do CFDs for stocks. So you can see it works exactly the same way, by the way. It doesn't matter what I'm looking at. Even Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, exactly the same. Because, in fact, those three instruments are the most manipulated instruments in the world now. It used to be gold. And if, I'll ask you all a question here. How many of you here, just type in yes or no, you'll remain anonymous. How many of you here think the markets are manipulated or rigged in some way by big money? Yeah, hello, Tina. It's me. It's Gavin. So it's not. I know it's Richard talking, but it's not. It's me, Tina. And nice to see you. Yeah, everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone's saying the same thing. Of course it's yes. But I wrote about this in my book, and I was ridiculed years ago when I talked about the price of gold, when Goldman Sachs and some of the big banks were saying gold's going up to 2,000, possibly 2,500. We had a big sign of weakness appear, and gold collapsed. And even now, we've seen some weakness in the gold market as well. So VSA, as I'll call it from now on, volume spread analysis, looks at the range of the bar and the closing price. But we look at it in relation to what's around us on the chart. We don't just look at one bar. And we don't just look at one time frame, as you're going to learn today. We look at multiple time frames, and we have a system called SMART, because it is smart. And that's the reason I'm very lucky that we worked. This is how I've met with Nathan through Phil Young, who's at the MD over there, and great guy. We worked out in Gibraltar together and reconnected a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a meeting up there and meet all the guys again because I wasn't well. But I'm sure we'll be meeting again to discuss further collaborations for certain. But volume spread analysis. Volume is activity. That's it. That's all you're going to know. It's the activity of the big money. All of us are interested in volume because it tells us the consensus of opinion amongst the smart money and the spread and the closing price in relation to the background, as I'll show you. Confirm. Volume is the enlightenment. It's the key to the truth once you understand it. I remember reading an article once, and I've read many, and it said when I got volume spread analysis, it was like lifting the fog from the financial markets. Lifting the fog was what was said, because the markets are devious. They're not there for your benefit, as Tom would always say. They're not there for your benefit. They're there to get your money. But if you know what you're doing, you have a chance. I've been doing this over 20 years now. And I'm a proficient chart reader because I don't listen to the news. I do listen to it, but I don't do anything with the news. I wait to see what the chart tells me. So if some good news comes out about a stock and it shoots up on high volume, I get ready to short it. Because all the breakout traders will be buying and the professional money will be out to have the lot. Here, you can have it. Tom told the story of Taladyne, where they did exactly that on a monthly basis. This goes on. And it does go on. But if it doesn't matter, it's not nefarious, it's how the markets have always worked. So remember, and I'm going to show you these bars now on a live chart. The volume is activity. The measurement of each tick of price change of stock, FX per, futures, contract, etc. It undergoes during a trading session, along with the total number of ticks building the price chart. And it depends. You can analyze tick charts. I like time frame charts personally. That works for me. And does volume spread analysis work in all markets, including spot forex and currencies? 100%. I'll prove it. And then I know the question will probably come in, well, there's no centralized exchange, so the volume can't be real. It is. It's tick volume, and it's even more powerful, actually, when you look at it. Because if you get unusually high volume and multiple ticks, the big banks, the institutional money, are showing their hand. It's like the elephant leaving a footprint. If an elephant walks across your front yard, I can assure you it's going to leave a footprint. So the professional money do actually send us a telegram if we know what to look for. And that's what we teach you. So yes, it 100% does work in Forex, as we'll see. Now, the concept I'm going to show you today is called Scan, Confirm, Trade, and I'm using the Smart Center Professional version of Trade Guider. And it's very simple, actually. It's not difficult at all to learn. To identify trading opportunities by finding unusually high volume, first of all, we call that climactic, followed by low volume. We call that no demand or no supply. No demand would be a weak bar, no supply would be a strong bar, especially if it's at the same level where the big climactic bar is, as I'll show you. To show visually clear trend alignment, in multiple timeframes, which is something I promised I'd show you today. To alert the trader when a major VSA principle has been found in any time frame, we use email, which we can use. We also have audible alerts. I use a bell and a police siren because I used to be a police officer in the Met and in Hampshire. So I use the police siren alert, tells me that there's a high probability trade coming in, but you can customize the alerts and the different sounds that they make in MT5 anyway, and indeed in other trading platforms. To alert the trader when a VSA sequential trade setup, let's just say, has been found in any time frame, and I'll explain what a sequence is, because it's not about one bar, and this is not, I will clearly say, just about green and red. There's a bit more to it. But once you get it, and you will teach you, we have plenty of courses on this, and we have a live trading room that we run every 4 days a week with Dr. Aram Kiani, and it's a great room. And the room trades real money in real time. So there's no hiding behind, oh, that happened last week or that happened last month and it looked great. I know BP was an example, but I had to show you it for you to understand volume. To allow a trader to monitor and scan hundreds of charts at one time, so the system is sniffing out trading opportunities. We call it the sniffer. That's what we call it affectionately. We don't market it as the sniffer because it didn't sound right, but it's exactly what it's doing. To show when the market is in congestion, very important. We have proprietary tools developed by TradeGuider Systems International. And when our scanner is misaligned in multiple timeframes, there's no trade. So this system will tell you when not to trade. A lot of systems don't do that. They tell you, oh, take the trade. That's why they say 90% of retail traders are unsuccessful, certainly in the first 3 months. That's a hell of a lot, but that does mean 10% are successful. And then we have visual audible alerts in MT4, and in this case, MT5, which I use now. I used to use MT4. I use MT5 now. And then we have each indicator, and there's over 300 in the system, has a dialog box, which tells us. So let's go to the live chart then. And let me just see if there's any questions. That's really kind of you. Thank you, Satisnavas. That's a really good comment there. I'll read that out if I may. Thank you so much for you and your team. I have been attending your sessions from about 6 months and was literally taking trades by understanding VSA concepts. And I understand the market just because of your team. That's nice. Thank you. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. So let's go and have a look at some trades in a minute. So to show when the market is in congestion using the proprietary trading tools in the system, when the scanner is misaligned, which I'll show you, in multiple timeframes, there's no trade. When the scanner is aligned in multiple timeframes, possible setup. And again, I said VSA is MT4 and MT5, and I'm today going to show MT5. And then we have the bar information. So let me go back to the chart now, or to the chart. I'm going to start off with the daily chart of the British pound. Now, you can see here that we've got the proprietary tools in the TradeGuider system built into this chart. So you won't just be able to buy MT5 and get this. We call this Smart Center Pro. Now, I'll explain to you what a widespread bar is. That's a widespread bar. A narrow spread bar would be a bar like this. And this caused the pound to collapse. And I'm going to explain this one indicator to you today because we've seen it. I mean, I could explain all 10 of my favorites, so I don't have time. But this is probably my favorite. And when you see it on a big time frame in a downtrend, it's a setup. Now, this here, these two boxes at the bottom of the system show trend. There's 3 different types of trend. There's what we call the medium-term trend, and the pound's been in it for about a month. You've then got a short-term trend, which is just up here for a few days, but I don't expect it to carry on. And then we've got what we call Smart Center Pro. Now, when this market began to sell off, there was a signal at the top here and at the top here, which we call no demand. Now, when we see no demand, the volume is decreasing as the price is rising. And we know there's no demand because the very next bar closes lower than that bar on that day. And then we have what I refer to in my book as a double gotcha bar. Now, read the book, it's all in there. It's a gotcha bar is designed to catch all the long positions out and lock traders into poor trades or indeed stop them out. But the start of the distribution phase, as we call it, actually happened up at the top. And then the trend changed here. Now, I was using to trade this a 4-hour and a 1-hour chart. And I'll show you why in a minute. But then we have our second strongest indicator, or third, I'd say, which is called the upthrust. It's done deliberately. The market's marked up on an increase in volume for about 2 or 3 days. But that bar there closed, and look at where it closed. It closed on the low of the bar. If that was all buying in this volume, we wouldn't close on the low. We close near the top with the next bar up, but we close on the low with the next bar down. And that's why this market's still falling now. Now, if we go to a different time frame, we can see it's falling on the 4-hour chart, and on the 1-hour, it's doing the same thing, but this time you've got what some people refer to as a treble top. I don't really use that. It's what we call the phase of distribution. It starts with confirmation. Again, one of my favorite signals, actually. It's hidden selling in here. And if you read the dialog box, which comes with the system, it teaches you. It teaches you to become a chart reader like Wyckoff and like Tom and like me. And this is a little book in itself, and it says this is a level or an up bar showing an increase in volume, supply, which is selling, or low demand, which would be low volume, no demand. Look carefully at the background. Do you have strength or weakness behind you? After a period of rising prices, which we had, this could be the start of what we call distribution by one or more professional groups. If there's no top to the left at this level, it could be what we call absorption volume. If the next bar is down, closing near its lows, as you can see here, this confirms the weakness. Also, high volume up bars on narrow spreads show further selling. Subsequent no demand up bars on up thrusts confirm the weakness. Look over here. Okay, no demand. Into the area of supply. There's no interest here. Professional money are holding the price up, but they know there's about to be a collapse. They do the same here. And they've just done exactly the same thing an hour ago. That sometimes happens to me. I do these live events and, you don't know what you're going to get on a Thursday. That's why the price is falling. That's supply coming in. And that's a live chart. It's a live bar. When you can read that, that's called an artificial markup. They're marking the price up, but we've got, what's important about this chart is we've got weakness in the background, and you can see how the market has reacted to that. Yeah, it's supply. Supply, if you ever hear me in webinars again and I refer to supply, I'm talking about selling coming in. That's what we refer to. And that is supply. And that's why we can now go to the 5-minute chart. And you'll see right at the top, before the big move down, you've got what's called a 2-bar reversal. And that's why you've seen falling prices. Because everything aligns. You've got weakness on the daily chart. You've got weakness on the 4-hour. You've got weakness on the 1-hour. So that's why the pound's going down the toilet. And it's not difficult to understand this once you understand how supply and demand moves. Now, you might say, well, how do I know when that indicator appears? Do I have to keep clicking on all the charts? No. We built what we call Smart Center Pro, which is this. Okay, you can see all of the charts that I'm currently monitoring for multiple time frame analysis. For instance, here, I can see at the moment that the Euro Swissy has got more red indicators or red in it, and I can see that the weekly's down and the daily's down. And over here, we just had on the hourly chart the same indicator. You click on it, supply coming in, and the market's falling. Go and check the charts for yourself. Now that, when it appears, any of these indicators, I mean here on the Euro Swissy, again here, on silver, it's gone into what we call congestion area. But when these all start to align, which we're nearly there with the GBP Swissy, very close. Let's just put that back up. There we go. Here, you've got almost complete trend alignment to the negative side. You want to look for trades this afternoon when we finished? This would be a good one to look at, because it's got here the 2-bar reversal, and over here the trap on the hourly chart. And that's why the GBP Swissy here is one of the weakest charts. So if we go and have a look at various of charts, but the GBP Swissy, we can see where the upthrust is at the top. We can see where the weakness is to the left. You're starting to get this. You can see the change in behavior. We've just had an indicator here. Just come in. No result from effort. And we can see the price falling. And we know we've got what we call a gotcha bar here. And this all makes total sense. Now, there's something else I want to show you, because I'm conscious of time and I want to be able to take questions. We can see these little dots that have appeared at the right edge of the chart. And there are 3 different types of dots. And they're coloured differently. This happens to be the grey. We also have the orange and we have the red that come through. Now, if I see these ones, these are areas of support or resistance. And the market will struggle to go through it. Doesn't mean it won't, but it will struggle to go through it. And here we can see we've got a whole load of them at the right edge. And what is happening here is the software is cleverly drawing out multiple trend lines from the bottom to the top and into the background, but you can't see them, because if they were printed on the screen, you wouldn't see the chart. There are literally thousands of them. So if you see a sign of weakness like that in the background, and then the market refuses, as it's doing now, to go through it, then we know that is a very serious sign of weakness, and we're in a downtrend. And this is why we're seeing the price fall, because it's not going to go through that cluster. Okay, and obviously we're coming into the London fix, so probably a lot of traders will be closing positions here. But that's what, these are all good examples, but let's go to gold. And I'll put up the hourly first. Now, the warning sign here is the amount of volume in these 2 bars. All right, massive wide spread. The next bar closed lower than the close of that bar. So how is this setting up? Well, at the moment, you cannot short it. You cannot short it. But I wouldn't want to be long either at the moment, because here, the downtrend has taken place, and this was a markup. What we can do, however, if you want a trade setup, is if the market goes into the middle of this big high volume bar, it could take 4 hours, it could be tomorrow, but look for it. If it comes down and then it goes back up into this area on low volume, you know what low volume bars are. They're called no demand. And there's your trade setup. And it's not difficult to figure this out. Now, some of the other charts I like to look at and I trade a lot is the euro. Now, this has just produced a 4-hour indicator right where the previous 4-hour bar appeared up here. And this was serious weakness right in the background. Okay, the logic here is the market's going up on an increase in volume, okay, but the spread's narrow. And that spread means there's the effort to push the price up has failed, and it goes sideways for the best part of a day. But now you've got the setup at the right edge of the chart. This is going to be a short trade. Okay, well, it is already. It is already. Because I would now use how I would trade this. Well, I will be trading this because I'll be trading it tomorrow in our live trading room. But you show Smart Center Pro and you say, right, is there anything here that shows me that this is going to set up for a short? Well, first of all, yes. Everything's in alignment. Almost everything. Not quite. It's not quite ready yet, but do you have supply present? Yes, you do. On the hourly chart, you can see it. When these all align and a sign of weakness appears, it sends me an alert. So I don't have to do the work. That's why we have software like this. It does all the work for us. And that is why this system, I can tell you the actual system trade guide at the company, we've been around for the best part of 35 years. So we're not a new business, despite what some people say. The company was originally called Genie Chartist all those years ago. We've got over 10,000 customers around the world, and they're all in different countries. We sell in about 40 different countries. And the reason the system can be learned fairly quickly now and not take a long time is because of the courses and the materials that we've put together to support, customers. That's the reason Capital Markets Elite Group are working with us, because we're educators and they want educated customers. That's why we're doing this with them. We're not charging for this. We're doing this because we know that, first of all, you'll benefit from having an account with them. Because I have to say, I haven't met Nathan, but he sounds like a very switched on guy and knows his stuff. And the second thing is, obviously, my relationship with Phil. When I work with Phil in Gibraltar, very trustworthy guy. And this is what you need in this industry. You need people that care about other traders, not snake oil, but people that genuinely care, and people that can show you their stuff live like this. We will fund an account. We will trade live. I do it all the time. We'll do it in our live trading room. As I say, all the details of the live trading room are at tradeguider.com, which is our main website, which is just, well, I'll put it up in a minute. It's tradeguider.com. So let's just go and have a look at the scanner here and just see if there's anything else that we can see that might be of interest. Now, the other one that picked up on was the Aussie New Zealand, but I don't trade that very often. So I'm just scanning through. Silver looks interesting. Okay, silver's got weakness. It's not aligned yet. See, this is how these are all based on time frames. These are the ones you can customize this. In Smart Center Pro, this can be customized. So if you don't trade daily, weekly, but you trade 60-minute, maybe 45-minute, that's totally customizable to your style of trading. Very easy to set it up. And here in silver, when this all goes red, then we've got to set up to the short side, because you do have the weakness that's starting to appear on these small time frames. So again, trend alignment is very, very key to what we teach. In fact, it's vital, absolutely vital. And so here, as we can see, on the euro, we've got the same sort of thing. And then if we go to gold, just quickly, I'm just going to have a quick look to see if we've got any. No, it's still moving up. This is very typical at the London Fix. So where you'd get a good trade in here, we're going to look for shorts, but it's going to be up here. We're not going to look for shorts. In fact, if anything, it's probably going to push up on the smaller time frame and give you trades to the upside. Here's the bottom of the chart. Everything, it's the opposite to the weakness I've shown you. This is called stopping volume. It's where the professionals here, even on a 1 minute chart, because this works for scalping just as well, have come in and they've supported the market down there. Well, you can see they have. You can see the chart. Now you're at an old top. and we've just gone up here, and we've got no demand. Oh, we've got supply on this bar. But again, you would never, ever short that. Why? Not at the moment. Still going up. But look at the colour. There's the diamonds, the purple diamonds. You can see them really clearly up just above here. So the purple diamonds, sorry, because I think I called them red. They're purple. They're the strongest. That's where, now, this is only a 1 minute chart, so that they may well get broken, but they will learn. And you might find here, see, they've just relearned themselves. So we're stuck in between support and resistance. So it doesn't mean it will automatically fall, but there's definitely an old top here, an old top here. Now, at the fix, I'd really, if you know what the London LIBOR fix is, it's where they fix the rates. And I don't like to trade into that all the time, although I do. I like trading out of it after they've actually marked the price up or down. And then you get a very clear idea of what they're actually up to. So here we're stuck in the clusters at the moment. There's no real volume to speak of at all, and we're moving sideways. So you wouldn't do anything here until the market changes behaviour, and that's what I will talk about in the next presentation we do. The change in behaviour. Markets move on supply and demand, which we know, but they also trend up, trend sideways, and trend down. And what we refer to when we talk about the change in behaviour is an uptrend changing to a downtrend. This market is at the moment on a 1 minute chart. It's clearly in an uptrend, but look at what's happening to the price in these clusters. These clusters, they learn themselves, even on a 1 minute time frame. So if you watch this, we'll see if price changes behaviour. And this is fascinating to watch these clusters because they will relearn every minute. On a 1 minute chart, they relearn themselves. So all of the support and resistance line relearn. They sometimes don't change at all. They just stay like this for the next 20 minutes. I've seen that happen many times. But what you're seeing here, and see, they've just relearned, and we're still stuck between two clusters. And look at price action for gold. That's unheard of, but it happens. So your no demand bar in the background, which is just 5 bars back, or your supply, sorry, is telling us, well, yeah, there could be an area there where some sellers are starting to come in. And I'm just going to stay on this for 2 more minutes because I want to see if it actually breaks, because I might actually trade this. Let me just see if there's any questions while we're watching that close. Right, there is some. Yeah, Jamie, I saw that. You get free data in MT5, yes. Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah, we can get the recording of today. Okay, do you have the plan to migrate all of these indicators in VSA in a kind of platforms? Currently, VSA is having only one setup, but I would like to be very beneficial if you would migrate all these VSA indicators into user-friendly platforms. Yeah, well, we've already got it for TradingView, but it doesn't have as many indicators. So we already have it. It's in the go and have a look at the live trading room. That shows all the indicators. We do have them, and this has all the indicators. There's 312, in fact, and this is MT5. It's one of the simplest platforms out there, and it's also a free platform to get data on. So we already have all that. TradingView, Jamie, you can get free data on it for that platform, but I actually subscribe to the premium, and it's $400 a year USD. It's a no-brainer, and it does everything. I don't know how they do it for that price because you don't even pay exchange fees, but they do it. it's very good. No, I don't use Sierra charts anymore, Jamie, because the company I trade with now is I actually trade with several companies. Actually, one of them is Capital Markets. I'm just about to fund the account. When I trade futures, I'm using NinjaTrader now because I don't know if you know, they bought out Infinity Futures. They actually bought the company out completely. Yeah, we're going to cover the stock market. We'll do that, and we'll do it in the next presentation. Today, it works exactly the same way. Exactly the same way as you're seeing here. It works perfectly well for stocks, futures, foreign exchange, CFDs, the lot. Okay, now it's breaking up here because we've now got two tests. So this is what I expect to see. You see tests. This will break through the support. You've got strength coming in, and that would be a test, wouldn't it? No, yeah, a no supply test. So yeah, that's why gold's pushing up through these. These are not impenetrable, by the way, but you need a lot of volume to actually push through them. Now if you want to come into our live trading room, you can come in tomorrow. It will give you a day for free, all of you. You just need to email my colleague who runs the room, and it'll be just for the one day. But I know a lot of you are quite experienced traders. You just basically email Aram at tradeguider.com. So just Aram at tradeguider.com, and he will be able to send you a link. We use a live stream. I think it's YouTube. There you go. And let me just see if Aram's in here, actually. If he is, I'll make him an organizer. Yeah, Aram, I'm just going to make you an organizer so you can put your mic on. Oh, I can't. Same issue with GoToMook. We've got to get you a new computer, I think, Aram. But anyway, you've just heard me there. I've put in your details so that if anyone's interested in coming in for a day, they can do that, and I'll be in the room tomorrow with you as well. All right, so let me just show you that. Then I did get some questions. So Nathan, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Just I wanted to make sure you weren't asleep. That was all.
Yeah, no. Watching, taking notes. You know, we've got another sort of 11 of these to come. So
yeah,
we're just making sure that we are up to speed as much as possible.
Yeah, good. If someone wants to find out more about your company, what website would you send them to?
So you can go to cmeliteGroup.co.uk, and also you can contact me directly. I guess it's sales@cmeliteGroup.com or .co.uk. But what I can do is put it in the notes in the chat, or follow up with an email.
Yeah,
I'll type it in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Put your details in there, and then if anyone's got any questions for Nathan and the team there, you can just get in touch with them directly. Right, let me just show you where details of what Aram does is. So our website, apart from volumespreadanalysis.com, is www.tradeguider.com. Right, if you want to see an example of one of the live trading sessions, you can click on that button just here. We do have a promotion at the moment on Smart Center, which is what I've been using here today. I'm using the professional version. If you click on that button there, it'll give you the full details. It's for ownership and for leasing as well. So it's the same product here. If you click on that, one of the best places you can go to if you want more information, obviously trading services, we've got the live trading room, which you're all welcome to join us in tomorrow. And if you want to see an overview of what Aram does, and let me be clear, I unfortunately can't put his mic on, but it's real money. It's a live account, and the trades are explained with the setups, and he's a very good teacher at continuing to repeat over and over and over and over again the same things. And that's how you learn. Repetition is the way to do this. And it's 4 days a week, and it's 4 hours a day. But very often he goes on for longer than 4 hours if something's happening. And then the other place to go, if you want to find out more, is the YouTube channel. And it's youtube.com/TradeGuider. And you click on the videos tab. Actually, one of the most interesting videos that we've had from a views perspective was absolutely what I'm doing. I'm teaching my 12-year-old son to trade, Ryan, and he's really picking it up, believe it or not. I'll do, maybe in a webinar that we're doing, we'll get Ryan to come in and show some of the setups that he's learned. If a 12-year-old can do it, he's on a demo account. Let me be clear, he's not trading my account, not yet, but one day he will do. And that's actually had a hell of a lot of views and likes because it's done. You know, I'm trying to. When I'm explaining it to my son, he's asking questions that's on the video, and they're really good questions. And you look at that video and you say to yourself, "Oh, actually, that's you're teaching a child to do this." And I know that sounds a bit, well, that's ridiculous, Gavin. You know, there are grown men, women who struggle to do this. But if you want to see this one, it's the trade alert that I use to execute, manage, and close a trade. We have a trade alert service as well that we use, and that is on here. But the course that we did, which we did at my house here in the New Forest National Park, all the details of that course are on here, and that is definitely worth having a look because that course is a great place to start. You don't need the software, and you can just play it and it will tell you all about it. So the YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/TradeGuider, and that's an excerpt from the course that we did over 2 days. We traded live on the first day, and we had four winning trades, and on the second day we did the theory behind it. So that is a very good course, in my opinion, anyway. But probably one of the best we've done. With that said, let me. It's nearly 4 o'clock. Let me just see if there's any questions. Right, Sid, hi. As I know, there could be differences of bars, different high, low, close formed by many different Forex brokers. How would that affect our trade decision making using the TradeGuider software? It's a very good question. And the answer is you trade with it. If I'm using, obviously, capital markets. The market, you know, I've got 3 different Forex brokerages that I look at now. Okay, and you find that the price ticks are very, well, they have to be because it's arbitrage. You can't have one broker going south and everyone else going north because that raises a red flag. But has it happened? Not to me, it hasn't. But I've heard stories from customers who've said that their spreads changed and they widen the spreads. But that's very nefarious to do that. And you know, the reason we're working with Capital Markets Elite Group is, well, I'll ask Nathan that. Nathan, do you ever get customers telling you that they've worked with a broker who keeps changing the spreads on them, and then, you know, when the market's going up, they sort of move it down? I mean, that does go on, doesn't it, in the industry? But Not.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have, but typically this normally occurs with brokers that are sort of regulated in places or even unregulated. But that's always one of the main things to check. If I was given a checklist, always check the regulation of your brokerage to ensure that these things can't happen, because there are laws against it, fundamentally. So that'd be the main thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%. Just double check. Right. Is there any other questions? If not, I'm going to wrap it up, and then I don't think there's anything else there. Nathan, I'll give you the recording once it's up, or I'll just give you the link to our YouTube channel if you want to send the recording out. That's fine.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. And okay, I shall look forward to the next event. Looks like everyone's happy. So we didn't lose. If you looked at the attendees there, Nathan, we lost one person. That's not bad in an hour.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, great attendance. I'm looking forward to speaking to anybody that has any questions. Feel free to reach out to me directly, and yeah, we look forward to the next one. So please keep an eye on your emails. We'll be sending out the schedule, and yeah, trade. I wish you the best of luck with your trading.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and as always, namaste. Best wishes to you, and we'll see you for the next event. And we'll hopefully, if you wish to join us in tomorrow's room, it's Aram, ARAM, at tradeguider.com. So that's Aram at tradeguider.com, and come and join us. And then, and Gary, don't worry, it's all recorded. So we're nice to see you, mate. It's all recorded. I'm going to put it on YouTube in a minute. Great, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.